Right, welcome to the Shake, Rattle and Roll podcast. Really pleased today. I have one of the legends of Welsh boxing, former world champion, Commonwealth champion, European champion, British champion, pretty much won it all. Enzo Maccarinelli. How are you doing, Enzo? Okay?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Rich. Thanks for having me on, man.
No, thanks for giving up a bit of time. But how are you coping at the moment with this madness, with this lockdown?
I'm all right, mate. I've got a garage. I put a couple of bags up in the garage. I've been back running again. I had a herniated disc last year, so I didn't think I'd ever walk again properly. But I'm back running again, back training again, punching hard, and to be honest, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, brilliant. But it's obviously you're in the same boat as me. You run a gym, so no news, down your neck of the woods as to when these things are going to be lifted.
No, nothing, mate. And it's been great. We've needed a bit of modifications to the gym, so we concreted the floor, we painted the floor, so it's all ready to go. But obviously can't really give the green light to the boys. They're all nagging me all the time.
Yeah.
You can't really give them the green light until it's we're allowed to, basically.
And we're unfortunate. We're one of those sports, MMA, jiu-jitsu, boxing, that you need that contact. Same with the rugby boys, isn't it? You can do all the fitness and all the bag work in the world, but that sparring is an integral part of the sport. Particularly for the competitive lads. It's been a tough couple of months.
The MMA, you're in the cage, you're grappling. The jiu-jitsu, you're on the floor rolling and playing jiu-jitsu, boxing, sparring. You need that sort of contact to get to that next level, get your sharpness back, get all the tools you've learned in the gym modified to in-ring, in-cage experience.
Yeah. I was saying on one of the podcasts the other day, I've been watching, the UFC have done their best to get these behind closed doors events on, but I think there's been a few fighters that probably regret the fact they took the fight, because I'll use Anthony Smith as one of the highest pro. Anthony Smith has always been a 5-round fighter, fought a main event and was tired by the second round. And
Glover takes that.
Yeah, and I honestly think that, if he'd had a full proper camp, he'd have beaten Glover, 9 times out of 10. But and Glover's a durable, tough kid, but skill levels. But I just felt Anthony, I've never seen him tired after 2 rounds before.
As you know, I'm a massive MMA fan. I love MMA. I speak MMA with everyone. I used to love Pride. I've grown up watching the Savages, Sakuraba, and all them.
Yeah.
But I watched the fight Glover Teixeira and Anthony Smith, and I just thought, obviously the camp is a big part of it. But I thought Anthony Smith played into Glover's hands. If we watch Glover, he's walking forward, he's making Smith throw.
Yeah.
He's in the pocket. He's making him throw. He's doing slight little adjustments with his hands. I think he's an ex-boxer as well. I think Glover.
I think he was amateur boxer for many years as well before the MMA.
He was making Glover, and he could do Anthony Smith's corner shouting, and I didn't see a problem like that, because I'd be like that with my boys. But I know my boys are fit enough to carry through. But I think what Smith's corner should have told him is hang back a little bit.
Yeah, so I think
they should have known what Glover was doing. He's an old head in the sport.
Yeah, and also, for me, DC made a point about there being a little bit of information overkill off the corner as well. And, but like you said, they know they fight better than you and I. They working with it, but surely they must. I've never seen Anthony Smith get tired that quickly before in his career. I've been following him a long time. So I think probably that was due to, as we said earlier, lack of sparring, lack of that sharpness for the fight.
Could well be, mate.
Maybe they should have, as you said, approached it a little bit different tactically. So
I probably pro Glover, because I'm a big Glover fan. I'm a big Anthony Smith fan. He's a knockout specialist.
Yeah.
I think Glover old-manned him. I think he knew what Smith was going to do, and we say Smith has never, blown his load, so to speak, but he never had to fight at that pace. Even against Jones, he didn't fight at that pace. Jones is better than Glover, but he never had to fight at that pace. And I think Glover put it on him. And like you said, without that camp, without that little bit of extra the sparring, it does take a toll on him.
Yeah, I agree, but he's on a purple patch, old Glover, as well. He's 4-fight win streak now, and realistically, if Jones has stepped down, he's got to be in the title mix, I think, as well. He's He's beat some quality boys, hasn't he, on that run as well?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, obviously, if John Jones is going to fight that light heavy again, or he's going to fight the tall, we don't know what he's up to. You know, we don't know if he's playing the card with Dana. But, you know, I think Dominic Reyes deserves that rematch. Even Santos. Santos pushed Jones until he hurt his knee. You know, it's some good fights out there. And Glover and Santos would match up very well.
I think it might be good for the division if he did move up to heavyweight, because at the moment he's cleaned it out, and I don't see anybody. You know, I think he's the best fighter. I think if he does the nutrition right, he'll go up to heavyweight and do this. You know, pretty much do the same as well. I think.
Yeah, but you know, he's a big like heavyweight, and he's
big, long, rangy.
He's coming down from 230, 240.
Yeah.
Oh, ample for heavyweight, good movement, athletic ability. And, you know, we talk about Reyes and Santos. You look at the Gustafsson fight, how he changed the second time round, and, you know, it was a totally different fight.
Right, sorry about that. My laptop shut down. Right, we're back online. I'm gonna have to buy a new laptop. I've had this one a few years. It's too tight to buy a new one. I am. Right. What I've been using these podcasts for, Enzo, is to give people a little, you know, everybody knows you in a spot, but give people a little bit of background on you know, the people that I've been interviewing. So let's go back to the beginning. You know, as a young lad, you know, where did you grow up as a youngster?
Swansea boy, Genros. I was a Genros boy, but my father's gym was Boney Mine. So I was up there from the age of, I say about 6 years of age. I was up there messing around, winding up all the older boys. Probably they all give me a kick up the ass, telling me to fuck off. Like, but I started boxing at 10. When my first Welsh at 11, continued to win them all the way through till I was 18. Turned senior, so turned senior 17. I boxed 2 elite level boys, which I shouldn't have. They were men. I sparked the 2 of them. I went over to Scotland. I boxed the super heavyweight champion. Sparked him. I had about 7, 8 senior fights. 7 wins in the first round, 1 in the 4th round. So couldn't get fights. So decided to turn pro at 18.
That's when you went pro. Let's go back to that part. So your dad was your coach as an amateur right the way through.
Yeah, all the way through from the amateurs. You know, I had a bit of help as well, because I was a bit of, went off the boil at 15 at the park with the boys drinking and stuff like that, as you all do. Didn't box for 2 years. Decided to come back, started sparring Nicky Piper at the age of 16. He was fighting Dariusz Michalczewski for the world title, and they asked me for a bit of sparring. So I went up there, done a bit of sparring. He always says he just about got the better of me. He didn't, trust me. It was a good spar. It was a good learning experience for me, 16 years of age, sparring a world title challenger, held my own. Week after that, my dad had a phone call. Mario, his name was, and he said, "Have we got an elite class heavyweight senior?" He said, "Yeah, Enzo." He said, no, I'm looking for an elite class heavyweight senior. He said, "Yeah, Enzo." He said, "Mario, Enzo, I'm boxed for 2 years. We know he's a good kid." And he said, "Nah, you can't put Enzo in with a novice. He'll kill someone." So they said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yeah." So went up Pontypool Workman's Club. I think the boy was, I think he was 23, something like that. Lost 1 fight in 20. And I remember Tony Williams, the coach of Pontypool, he wrote an article in the paper. Enzo, very good schoolboy, British champion. Don't expect too much of him. He's up against it tonight. 1 minute, 22 seconds later, the boy's flat in his face. you know, and the story began.
Ah, brilliant. So, did you fall into boxing because of your dad, or did you have an interest in it anyway?
He made me box. He made me box. He made me box. He went to a boxer. Don't get me wrong, I loved it. You know, I was sparring men at the age of 12. I had my first knockout at 13. You know, I knocked out my first man at 14. I just loved having a tear up, and I had one of those rare commodities. I had no fear of anyone whatsoever, and I think my dad sort of drilled that into me. Did come points where if I didn't train, I wouldn't get my pocket money, so I couldn't go for the boys on the weekend. But you know, I hated him at times, but you know, he made me what I was. So,
was you a big lad at 14?
No, I wasn't massive. I was tall. I think I had that growth spurt at 14. I think. I went up to what I am now by the age of 16. Obviously, I am grown now since 16, but I was carrying a lot more weight. You know, I didn't know much about diet and nutrition, and you know, I was only training for 3 rounds, so I knew I could do 3 rounds standing on my head. Like the round it was never going past 1 anyway, because I always knew I was a banger. You put in, you know, it's very rare you see an amateur boxing with the head guards at the time. A fully grown man were getting spark cold 15 minutes at a time. Like, so I always knew I had a God-given gift.
When did you and your dad realize that you had that natural power? Because, you know, I say this, you know, being involved in MMA, I think for the guys like yourself that's got a raw power, it's not something you can coach into people. I believe you're born with it.
Yeah, I don't care what anyone says. You do little adjustments, little tests, but you can either punch or you can't. And I think from a young age, mate, I went up to Coventry. I think it was the British Championship semi-finals. I'd been bad for a week, so I shouldn't have actually entered. But I thought my dad said to me, "Go for it for the first round. If you come back," he said, "I'll pull you out." He would never pull me out. No matter what was happening, he would never pull me out. But I thought to myself, right, I'm just going to give it everything I got. The bell went. I walked across the ring. I threw a 1-2 left hook. I knocked the boy out cold. A 13-year-old kid out cold for like 15 minutes or 16 minutes. So we knew then I could whack. Like,
you were natural for the power.
Yeah, you know, like I said, I sparred a pro at 14. I dropped the pro when I dropped the pro 3 times at 14 years of age. Like, so I knew I had something.
What was you like outside of the boxing ring? Was you in trouble, or did did boxing give you that discipline to keep you out of trouble?
100%. Don't get me wrong. I want a nasty type person. I didn't go joyriding and stuff like that. But I was like a smoke of a joint, and I was got to part with the boys on the white side and stuff like that. And I was lucky because it was like 2 or 3 sets of groups, and I was with a group. We stuck with a blow. We stuck with a bit of white side, and then it was the other group who jumped on the LSD and
some of the heavier stuff
like that. So I was lucky. My mates stayed to one side. As for trouble, not really. I went to town. I used to get into town when I was about 14, 15. I had a couple of set tools with doormen. But no, I was unhappy drunk, but I was very protective. Of my friends, very protective. Worked on a door when I was 16. I had one night on a door. Some big rider, he whacked someone out in the club. The doormen were petrified of him. I don't know who he was. I walked over to him. I said something. I cracked him. His brother cracked me in the head of the ball. Crack. I was 16 years of age. I turned up from work the next day. My brother was a well-respected man. He'd been on the phone to him. They said, "Oh, we've got to let him go in." I said, "How?" So his brother just phoned us. He's going to kill us if we work again.
Brilliant. Going back to your lad, so how old was you when you had your first amateur fight?
10.
And where was it to? Where was it to? Remember?
Llanelli, Cam Gears Club, Llanelli.
Yeah, and that was a win.
Yeah, one of my first few.
As a young lad, how did that feel? Because I always say to everybody, your first taste of competition can sometimes make or break a child. You know, particularly, you know, you leave a win and you love that sensation and you'll have that desire and hunger for it. And I've also seen it with youngsters where they lose and it'll affect their confidence to a point where they could have possibly gone on to be a great fighter, but that one experience has knocked them back. How was that feel? Was it a buzz like nothing you'd ever had before, or was it just another day in the office?
It was a buzz. It was nerve wracking. 10 years of age, fighting a boy in his hometown. You had a couple of fights for my first fight, and yeah, it was a bit nerve wracking. I was buzzing at the end, and you say about confidence and stuff like that. I remember my 4th or 5th fight had nothing to do with my confidence, but I was very, as a youngster, I was very slick to be on my toes and bouncing.
Yeah.
But in this fight, nothing happened between me and this boy for 2 rounds. We were just trying to dictate each other and outpoint each other. I remember the crowd booing. So I always remember that day, I will never fight like that again. So I think that was the catalyst of me fighting the way I did.
The way you did.
I used to like to entertain. I was very slick in the gym. You couldn't catch me. I was up on my toes. I was boxing, slip shots. I was very hard to catch. But something happened to me on fight night where I seen the red mist. I wanted to entertain. I wanted to knock someone out.
Yeah.
I could get knocked out myself, but that was my way. I loved the fight, and I think that was a catalyst to make me fight the way I was.
Yeah. What was the first title you won as an amateur?
Welsh title. I think it was my 4th fight. Won the Welsh. One allowed to win the British. I think it was 11 years of age. I think.
Yeah.
A year after, age of 12, I won the Welsh. Went up to Derby. Got to the finals of the British. Won the final. I think it was the world record, Welsh record winning group. I think Gary Lockett was on there. Gavin Rees was there.
Yeah.
Bradley Price was there. Delroy Price was there.
And who's all really of the Welsh boxers of that generation? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was like me, Gary. I can't remember. All Damien Dunyan, the boy was Justin Ravenhill, Scotty Rees. It was all them years ago, and I still sort of remember 1993. Brilliant.
Do you play any other sports as a youngster?
Football. I used to play football. Wasn't great, but at the age of 14, I used to play under 15. So my age, I used to go play for the seniors the same day. Not that I was any good. It's just very aggressive, very fit, and didn't give a fuck.
Centre half.
Centre half. They moved me up front. They kept me out of trouble. I was giving away too many pens.
Kicking them about a bit much at the back, but I can imagine. Right. So, you said you had a little bit of an hiatus between 15 and 17, was it? You said, yeah. And then you come back, done the spa. So you come back, had that spa, and you just thought, you know what, I've missed this? Or was it like a thought of, do you know what, I probably haven't appreciated just how good I am and I could make a living out of this? What was the mindset that made you get back into the boxing?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. I just thought I was out with the boys. I put on a lot of weight, and I don't get me wrong, I was enjoying myself with the boys, having a laugh and stuff like that. And I still used to go up the gym now and again, but I was going. My dad used to send me for a run when I was 16. We go for a run. I'd sneak in the bushes, have a fag, come back, and I just got overweight, and I weren't looking well. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't taking drugs or nothing like that, but it was like I just weren't feeling good myself. My diet was shit, and I decided to get back into it. My dad got me back into it, and I started training again, and he offered me a sparring with Nicky. It was a chance. I think we were at a boxing show and Nicky was playing pool, and my dad said, "Oh, he's going to be next world champion," and Nicky laughed, and that was the beginning basically when I sparred Nicky.
So you back then. So where did you have that moment where you thought, you know what, I'm good enough. This is going to be my living?
I think, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. It was. I remember my first fight as a pro. I knocked everyone out as an amateur. In the seniors, I ended up an amateur record of 50 fights. I lost 4 out of 50, so I had a decent record.
Yeah, very good record. Yeah.
My first fight, they put me with a journeyman. Don't win an awful lot. Doesn't get stopped. Doesn't get knocked out. There's me thinking, is it? I'll spark this guy.
Yeah.
Went on points. I was fucking devastated.
Yeah.
I was devastated, and then I realised how good these boys are. They say a journeyman who've lost all these fights, they are good.
Yeah,
they are good. Half of them could win half of what they lost.
Yeah, I agree. I went to an MMA show in Bristol, and they had MMA bouts, a couple of kickboxing bouts, and 2 boxing bouts.
Right.
So the promoters come up to me and said, "Oh, Jake, any chance you jump in a corner with this boxer? He's turned up and he's on his own, like, I thought, God, he's turned up on his own." So I've gone over and introduced myself. I said, "Do you want to do some pads?" So I'm warming him up on a pad. I'm thinking, "Oh, this boy got a bit about him, like." Do you know what I mean? I was thinking,
Yeah.
you can tell, can't you, Enzo? You the coach. You go if you think, "Oh, he can sting a bit, yeah." This. So I said, "You know the lad you fight?" And he goes, "Nah, mate." I said, "Listen, I've watched him fight MMA. I don't know much about him in his boxing." I said, "But he's not a great striker. I think you go out there, you put a bit of pressure on him, and knock him out." He leans over, he goes, "I've come here to lose. You realise this, do you?" I go, "What?" I was unaware, you know, that he says, "Yeah, I've got to take him through the rounds." Oh God, I said, "This is." I couldn't believe they'd ask me to go in the corner, and I'd agree to it now, and it like went against the grain with me. Do you know what I mean? So like we've got.
The thing, and you get the journeyman who get slagged off, but without them, you don't see the great boys, because I was getting put in with journeyman, as all journeymen do. I was going in with boys, 100 fights, 1-5.
Yeah.
Don't get stopped, don't get knocked out. I was blowing them away.
Yeah,
If you can blow a journeyman away,
agreed.
You go into that next level.
But and also they serve a brilliant purpose in giving you elite guys the apprenticeship you need, experience, 100%. Rounds. You know, 100%. It's no, you know as well as a coach. I say to my lads, at amateur, give me a good 3-round tough fight over walk out and disperse of them in a minute, because you're getting all that rounds. It's all miles in, miles in the back pocket, feel. But going back to the boxer that I cornered in Bristol, we went out. He goes out in the first round and he sparks a kid, I don't think you appreciate how bad the level of striking. So he comes back, he says, "Did I lose that round?" I said, "Pat, it's 50-50. I said, "We'll take the foot off the gas." So like he's looking over at it, I'm going, "Bring it down." So he lost 2 rounds to 1. There was a 3-round fight. He won the first one, lost the 2. And the lad he'd fought had sold like 150 tickets, you can imagine, on a small show. But yeah, it was a good learning curve for me. I actually took his number. Because I thought he'd be handy for some sparring sometime.
Yeah, but like I told the boys before, we've got these journeymen who would, they'd lose to all the top boys anyway, right?
Yeah, of course.
They would go 50-50 with the mid-level boys, and they beat all the lower level.
Yeah.
So they don't make no money.
Yeah.
So they I see journeymen, seeing boys coming up, they'd have like 5-6 grand a fight every week.
Yeah.
They're getting 6 grand. That's unheard of a boy with so many losses. But 6 grand every week to test the boy.
Yeah, and they are key. I'm aware of it now. They're key to the growth of the sport as well, and bringing these lads through. So you've gone in devastated. You haven't seen them off like you did. So a bit of a jump, like in your mind, was you thinking, "Hang on, am I good enough? Have any doubts?"
Spewing, mate. Spewing. So I boxed then 2 months later. 2 months later. Boxed a boy called Mark Smiley Williams, I think his name was. He looked a black fella, but he looked like an Adonis god. He took his top off. I'm looking at him like, "Oh, get out of it." So we sort of, I thought, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go for him." So it's one of my highlight clips, and I knocked him out in 35 seconds. We just had to square up, and I
just threw from the rafters, yeah.
Oh, just literally swing into the rafters. And the first thing I done was look at my dad. As if to say, "Look at that, Dad." He looked at me when "You dropped your hand." That's all he said to me and walked away. I fucking got it.
Always striving for perfection, the father coach. Yeah. So was your dad your coach at pro as well then?
No, he at the time.
So where did you go as a pro?
Charlie Pearson, which was Nicky Piper's ex-trainer. He sort of groomed me into in this day and age, grooming's the wrong word, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He got me into the pro style of things. And I always boxed like a pro anyway. It was just getting the fitness to do the 6, 8, 10 rounds or whatever it was.
How long was you there for? Because I know you spent a large chunk of your career at Team Kazagi, and then obviously with Gary Lockett at the end of your career. How long was you with this fella for?
When I was with Charlie, I boxed a boy called Mark Hobson, and it was the first day I realised about weight cutting. So I was never a big cruiserweight. Cruiserweight limit was 14.4. I was coming in about 13.10, 13.11. So I'm 6-7 pound underweight before the actual weigh-in. Dehydration, before the dehydration on the night. So I remember seeing this Mark Hobson, and he was the British and Commonwealth champion at the time. And I remember my brother said, "What's he look like?" So I said, "And I said, "Oh, this won't take long. I'm gonna fucking rip him in half. I'm gonna rip that rib cage in half." Get in the ring or fight out MEN Arena, Pot Zoo versus Hatton. I remember looking at the ring, out the ring of my dad. I said, "Who the fuck's that?"
Yeah, it looked like you've had somebody.
So we had a 12-round fight. Tough fight. I won the fight, but I needed a change. Yeah. And
how much weight did he put on? Ends out of curiosity.
Well, he weighed in smack on 14.4, so I'd assume another stone.
Stone, yeah.
It was just a totally different guy, you know. On the way in, I could see his ribs. You know, I was looking at him ribs, I was looking at my lips. You know, they're gonna be fucking.
You look at some of them at the weigh-ins, and it's like the walk. You know, you look. I use Al Jack as an example. He looks like something off the Walking Dead, the Walking Dead series. You know, at the weigh-in, and then they look a totally different fighter on the day. So you made a change after that fight, did you?
Yeah. I spoke to my dad. I spoke to my brother, and he always had a good relationship with Enzo. And I decided to give Enzo a try. You know, I knew my fitness levels were good. I knew he was big on fitness. So I decided to try him.
You leave on good terms with Charlie?
Yeah. I went down and spoke to Charlie. You know, it was nothing bad. It was just I needed something different. I was getting stale, and I needed to just revamp a few things.
So when you joined the Kazai gym, I'm guessing you'd have had Joe there, Gavin Rees, Bradley Price.
It was me, Gavin, Kerry Up, Joe, Nathan Cleverly.
Cleverly was there then, yeah.
I think Delroy Price, Bradley's brother, was there as well.
Yeah.
And I think that was it. I think so. It was a thriving team.
Yeah. What was the first day training? You know, did you go and speak to these guys before? Or did you?
Well, I knew no for you.
You knew off the circuit, yeah.
Me and Gavin boxed age 1991, Channel View Leisure Centre, our first Welsh. You know, we
you knew him well anyway.
Enzo, I knew Joe, and I remember coming home after the session. I remember saying that my brother phoned me. He said, "How was it?" He was expecting me to be beasted, and I said, "Nah, easy enough. I can cope with that." Fucking hell. Next day, I had to stop in a lay-by in a car to take a rest. I was hammered.
He was big on fitness, Enzo. Yeah, it was old school about the cardio. Yeah.
Oh, it was mate. You look at the great boxers of our time: Lenners, Duran, Hagler, Hearns. All they did was run and box.
Yeah.
None of the strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
Would the strength and conditioning made them better? No, it'd probably slowed them down. You know, they used to go 15 rounds. So I think that was Enzo's way. It was literally some day, you know, all these boys training 2-3 times a day. Some days with Enzo, it was just once a day. It lasted about 3 hours.
Yeah.
It was hanging.
Yeah.
But it was just once a day. You know, me and Joe used to go up the Aberdrannus Hill. We used to go running for 6 miles, come back to the gym, do 12 rounds sparring straight away.
Yeah.
Then I'd go on a bag for 6 rounds. He'd go on a pads for 6 rounds. Then we'd swap over.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was fat. But then he would have all that time to recover until he got to do it again the next day. Yeah,
and it was a fantastic group of fighters here. I'm guessing you all would have fed off each other. You know, success breeds success as well, doesn't it? When you're seeing, you know, it was yourself. Gavin had a world title. Joe, obviously, the most dominant fighter of his generation. You know, it was a fantastic team down there. Was there any other coaches helping out? Was it all solely just Enzo down there?
It was pretty much solely Enzo. I used to have others there, just tie gloves and stuff like that, but it was just Enzo. And it was the worst time we'd have with Enzo is if you had a fight coming up, none of the other boys had a fight, so they didn't turn up. He wanted them to turn up, but like say Gavin, Bradley, and all them wouldn't turn up, and you were in the fucking gym on your own with Enzo. You've got to be prepared for pain. And it's like you come out, you'd have him checking rice and vegetables after. And you just couldn't eat it.
Yeah. So, do you enjoy it there from the offset? Because you know,
loved it.
Did you go to the old gym when it was the old gym in the Newbridge? No, you went to the Cumcarn one, yeah.
Yes.
The old rugby club, yeah. Yes, I took a group of lads down there about 2 years ago. It was I put a couple of my youngsters on. Joe's boys run a white collar event, and they needed a couple of lads. So it was good experience for some of my amateurs. I took them down, but it was nice for them to walk around, and it's quite nostalgic, isn't it? With all the posters and the pictures and the belts, it's nice for the youngsters to walk around and have a look down there.
100%, man.
So you've gone there. Start enjoying your boxing. You're doing well. What was your first title you won as a pro?
First title I won as a pro was with Charlie. It was a WBU title, which isn't the greatest title. It says world champion on it, but it's not world champion. It was my 13th fight. I boxed a boy called Bruce Scott.
Yeah.
Bruce Scott was a 3-time world title challenger, an official world title challenger. Took Johnny Nelson the distance. But he was the current British and Commonwealth champion. So looking back, I think
it was a great win.
I would have rather won the British and Commonwealth.
Right. Yeah.
I would have gone down as one of the youngest to win it and the shortest fights in the cruiserweight division. So that was the first one I won.
Right. So what title? What was the first title you won under the Kawasaki umbrella?
WBO.
The WBO, the world title. Yeah.
WBO.
Now you won that. Now, I say this to everybody, to become a world champion, like you said, the WBU is a world champion, but I've had this conversation with Gary Lockett, and he says, you guys as boxers, you won the WBA, the WBO, the WB, the IBF, those are the ones that you're looking for. How did that feel as a young Swansea boy to stand there? And he was in the Millennium Stadium, I believe he won it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Millennium Stadium.
And be crowned the best in the world. How was that for you as a fighter?
It was unbelievable, and more so, it was like it was who I was. I boxed a guy called Marcelo Dominguez, an ex-2-time WBC champion. The fight before me, he boxed Nikolai Valuev. He's 5'11". He boxed Nikolai Valuev, 7'2", give away 9 stone, and lost on points. He'd never been stopped. He'd never been put down. He had the reputation as the biggest, hardest chin in world boxing, and I knocked him out round 9, I think.
Yeah.
And in the Millennium Stadium, night before the World Cup as well.
Yeah.
It was the night before the World Cup, and they had an England top for me to wear in the ring, and I said, "You've got no chance." I said, "You don't realise if I wore an England top in." That Argentinian fucker had more support than me.
Support than you, yeah. You're right.
No way I'm wearing an England top. I said, give me an Italian top. I said, no, I'm wearing a fucking English top.
What was the crowd for that, Enz? Do you remember?
It was about 30,000, I think.
What was that atmosphere like? But to come out, I said, my dream as one of the figures is trying to promote MMA in Wales is eventually. And it's going to be a long road, but to have that huge event in the Millennium, and we're miles from it at the moment. But it's something that I do dream of, and I do believe we will achieve it soon. What must that feel like as a Welsh lad fighting for a world title at the Millennium Stadium? I mean, I'd imagine the atmosphere was bonkers down there, was it?
It was amazing, mate. And we get like the rivalry with football, Swansea, Cardiff, and stuff like that. You don't get it at the events. No, I've been down there. They all come together, and it's Wales. It's Wales. Yeah, I probably had more Cardiff fans shouting "You Jack Bastard" than Swansea boys over there. it was nuts, and it brings everyone together. And I always say, everyone, for me, all this rivalry of football is a lot of bollocks. I'm a fighter, and the Cardiff boys support me, the Newport boys support me, the Swansea boys support me, and I'm Welsh basically. I'm fighting for myself, but I'm representing Wales.
What was that moment like for your dad?
Mate, I tell you what, right? People ask me, was that the greatest moment I've ever had, putting that world title on my waist? It's the second greatest. The first greatest was seeing my dad's faces while he won a world title. That's what he've always wanted. And for me, that was a better. It's mad to explain, but that for me, that was a better feeling than actually winning a belt.
Win it, yeah. And I'll tell you straight, as a father of a fighter, your dad would have been going through so many emotions on that day. Stress, nerves, he'd have felt sick. And the people say to me, how did you feel when Jack won his world title? And I'll tell you now, it was relief as well. It was like, he's done it, and I'm guessing your dad was the same. You'd worked up to this point, it's an opportunity of a lifetime, and you've grabbed it with both hands. So I bet he was bouncing off the chairs when he won by KO.
Possibly, mate. He was, I've seen my dad cry twice in my life, right? He was a tough man, stubborn man, didn't give a fuck what anyone thought about him. He was just one of them, well respected. I won a British when I was 12 years of age. I seen a tear in his eye, and I seen a tear in his eye when I won a world title. Apart from that, forever. What you done is what a lot of the champs don't do. You had a good, consistent run defending it. Four defenses ends, yeah? Yeah, 4 defenses.
4 defense. So, question I always ask fighters is, what out of those 5 fights, so you've won it, you've defended it 4 times. was the actual winning it for the first time the highlight, or will one of the defences give you a bit more satisfaction as a fighter?
It wouldn't say more satisfactory. It was probably on par. I boxed a guy called Wayne Braithwaite. I got a funny story about that in a minute. But I boxed a guy called Wayne Braithwaite. Wayne Braithwaite was an ex-WBC world champion. He had the reputation of one of the hardest punchers in world boxing. He was a danger man, and like I said before, I don't have no fear. I normally go in the ring. I got one game plan to knock your head off. I make mistakes and I can get caught myself, but I love that sort of atmosphere. I got in the ring with Braithwaite and I went the same way. I started throwing bombs, swinging away, and he threw a hook and he hit me in the shoulder. And I remember thinking, "Fuck, what was that?" And it was like a sledgehammer hitting me. So from that moment on, I switched. I went back to what I do in the gym. I went on my toes, hit the jab, and it worked out. It was a cracking fight. But unless he'd have caught me on the shoulder, you never know what could have happened. And the next day, I turned up in a Bristol Open and I competed in jiu-jitsu.
I want to touch on that. So you started training a bit of jiu-jitsu while you was boxing. It wasn't after your career, while you was boxing. So you trained down at Nails in Port Talbot, is that right?
I don't think it was called Nails at the time. It was with the Kevin Cox. It was,
they call Nails.
Simon Davis. So I went with them, and I loved it. I loved it. It was great. I was grappling all the bigger guys, and I only had a couple of moves, but they were good. Like
how long did you grapple for?
When I entered that Bristol Open, I'd only been doing it 3 weeks. I won my first 2 fights, and I lost in the semis. I was ahead on points, and he swept me about 10 seconds ago. I put the arm down. He bucked me, put the arm down, and he swept me. I was fucking gutted. But after that, I done it for a while. I really enjoyed, and I'm one of these. I argue with a lot of boxers, and when they say, "Oh, I go to UFC, do UFC," I say, "Look, you've got a split second." I said, "If they take you down," I said, "If you don't know what you're doing, you haven't got no chance." Yeah, none whatsoever. Same as an MMA boy would have no chance
in boxing. No,
top boxer. And I try to explain this to people. I say, it's 2 different sports. They're 2 great sports, and I love the 2 of them. Yeah,
I remember we listened to your podcast with Dave and Lily, and tickled me when he said like that. He was saying, but Floyd have never seen the moves Conor gone.
Oh, you're a prick.
But they are totally different. And I tell you what, one of the biggest eye openers for me was when Gavin Rees come and started doing some work with the team, and just to watch Gav do pure boxing with some of the guys that I had that were decent strikers, couldn't land a glove on him.
Different level.
Different level. But yourself and Gav have worked with MMA, and you're obviously real enough to know that no MMA guy is going to come in and deal with you in boxing, and vice versa. Like you said, unless you get that snapshot and land that clean punch, you've got a good wrestling, but your work cut out.
When I used to go into grappling, when I was doing the grappling, I was only about 14 stone, 13, 12. Yeah. And I was going in with boys in when we were practicing. I was going in with boys 18 stone, 17 stone, 18 stone. I was all right. They tried to outpower me. They used to do all the big moves. Couldn't outpower me. I was all over them. I like a rash, my fitness level. Who put me in one of them 8, 9 stoners? Yeah. It's like 4 of them on it. And, I take my hat off, and I loved it. And I was what was my moves? I used to like take side. I used to, it's not a Kimura. What's the other one on the top?
Like a figure 4 Urugrami. Yeah.
So I used to do that, or I used to take the back, and instead of putting the hooks in, I put the figure 4 across the waist.
Yeah.
And try and do the choke. But if I couldn't get the choke, I was good at transitioning to the armbar from behind.
Yeah.
That's the only moves I had, but they were good.
So how long was you doing it for?
I done it for a year and a bit, like.
Did you go up in the belt, or was you white belt when you quit?
I didn't go there enough.
Yeah.
I would have, to be honest, I would have loved to. I think I had a letter and a few warnings off my promoter Frank. Basically, I was world champion. I fight for all these belts, and
and that's understandable. It
took over my life.
Yeah.
It took over my life. I loved it that much.
Well, the jiu-jitsu did.
Yeah, I did. I loved it.
Is it something you go back into now or not?
100%. I want one more fight. I want a 50th fight.
Yeah.
I have had an offer from Bellator. That interests me, just to say I have. But we will see. But if that doesn't happen, I will go back into grappling. So I really enjoyed it.
Brilliant. We'll touch on the Bellator in a bit. I just want to finish off on your boxing, but I got a couple of questions for you around MMA. Obviously, after you lost the world title, and I've seen this on thousands of occasions with fighters. You've achieved the pinnacle of the sport, and some people, after they lose our world title, can lose a bit of anger. But you're one of those fighters that had a fantastic career after losing world title. You went on to, I think it was Commonwealth title, did you? European title, European. British title as well. Again, was it after you'd won the world? Yeah. And you've got to be a special type of character really to maintain that hunger and still pursue it. Have you always been that type of guy? What kept you going? Was it the competitive edge?
I just loved it, mate. I just loved it, and it was like I won a European title. I'll go to this now. I won the European title, and then there was a guy called Alexander Frankel. No one wanted to touch him. No one wanted to go near him. I think he knocked out his last 22 in the first 2 rounds. He was dynamite. So I remember Frank telling me, we'll step aside, give a belt up, step aside. I said, what do you mean step aside? He said, oh, he's dangerous. I said, I'll fucking give him my belt up for anyone. I said, I'll fight him and I'll smash him. So, mad as it seems, I trained myself. I literally had a stopwatch on the floor, it in a bag. I had no sparring. Guessed in the ring against this guy. First round he come out. I knew he was going to come out fast. So I took the first round. And then bit by bit, I beat him up. I battered him. I literally hammered him. And I think come back at the end of the 6th round, I was sat in the corner. And the guy out with me in the corner at the time, he said, look at him, he's ready to go. So I leaned over like that, and I'm thinking, yeah, he's ready to go. He said, stick a jab in his face and it'll be over. Yeah, supposedly I should have done that. No, I got to go out for the highlight reel finish, make a cement. I had the highlight reel finish, but it was the wrong way round. So he caught me with a left hook. And bear in mind, one of the biggest punches in world boxing, he smashed me with a left hook. I went down, I got up. How I got up, I don't know. The ref said, can you fight? I went, yeah. He let me carry on. I couldn't even lift my hands up. So the biggest punch in world boxing at the time, he run across the ring, hit me with another left hook, put me down, snapped my jaw. I had to go back to the change room. My jaw's hanging to one side. He comes in the change room, black and blue. He said, I'm sorry. And I said, I'd have done it to you. It was one of them things. And I remember leaving. I was there to get to the hospital because of my jaw. And the drug testing guy was in, and he said, "Oh, you have to take a piss." He said. So I said, "I got to go to the hospital." He said, "You have to," and I walked out the door. But I opened the door and come back. I said, "What would happen if I didn't take the test?" He said, "You never box again." So even at that moment now, I've just had an oxygen mask on in the ring. My jaw's hanging to one side. I still knew I wanted to fight again. I loved the sport.
Loved it that much. How long? How many fights did you have under Gary? So obviously, like the Kazagi gym, did you leave when the numbers started dropping? Like Joe had retired and Gav had retired. What was the reasoning then?
The numbers were dropping. I think Enzo sort of lost his hunger with Joe retiring. And, I went back to Enzo. When I come back, I tried to get down to light heavyweight, which I done well. And we had a couple of fights and looked good. But, I think he lost his hunger. I gave Gary a ring. Gary was a bit nervous about taking me on. So, I suffered a couple of bad losses. So he put me in a bit of sparring to test me out. Come through it flyingly, and we joined up.
Yeah, and from an outsider looking in, it seems to me like you guys have got a great relationship as well.
Old friend as well.
Old friends as well. Long before the coaching fighter relationship, evolved.
Yeah, I respect him, and what I like about Gary, he didn't try to change me. He didn't try and change my style. He tried to tighten me up a little bit because he knew I liked the fight. I'm a bit gung ho, but it worked well. And he listened to me. I boxed over Mackenzie. I got stopped in the second round because the ref done a jump in after he hit me on the gloves, and he thought I was hurt. So the ref on the night said sorry. But I had such a shitty year. My dad died, and my little boy diagnosed autism. I just had a shitty year. I just took it. So we decided to take the rematch. I boxed a boy called Carl Wild. I won 5th round body shot, but I was terrible. I was absolutely terrible. My brother phoned me the next day. He said, have you seen a fight back? I said, no. He said, he was shit. He said, no, he basically said, I don't want to fight that Mackenzie. I said, you get me Mackenzie. I said, I'll be up for it. I said, I want up for that. So we come down, we trained, and we had a plan, because this Mackenzie's strong. He was one of the biggest punchers about. And we had a Gary had a plan on my toes. We hit the jab, move, hit the jab, move. And after about 2 weeks, I said to Gary, I can't do this. He said, what do you mean? I said, I don't know. He said, oh, but he's so strong. I said, Gar, he won't be as strong as me. I said, let me meet him fucking head on. And I think the word I said was, let's go windmilling. I said, he started laughing. But we worked together. He knew I wanted to attack. He knew I'm at my best when I attack. And he just come up with a game plan. Enzo tightened me up a little bit while I was attacking. I probably didn't. And it was in Cardiff. And it was one of my best fights. And I ended up knocking him out in the 11th round, I think. With a left uppercut. And he was out cold on his feet. He was actually slumped over, standing up, out cold.
Gone up, yeah. He's I've got all the respect. I think Gary, world-class coach. And I don't think that, and I say this about the Welsh a lot, I think we're unfashionable. So sometimes we don't always get the props, that we deserve in the combat sports, whether that be boxing or MMA. But, I've seen the work he's done with some of the MMA guys and just watched how he's fine-tuned them as boxers and turned them into really decent strikers.
Yeah, and what he does, and what I do with some of my boys who come with me with the MMA and stuff like that, you don't teach them as boxers. You teach them boxing for MMA.
For MMA, yeah.
Different. If you've got a close legs in MMA, you're going to get taken down. It's all, and that's the good thing about Gary. He'll work to your style.
Yeah.
And, it's good to see that MMA fighters are going to boxers to learn boxing.
Yeah, and it's how it should be, but it's how the sport is going to evolve.
100%. If you teach you send a boy to learn jiu-jitsu, you're going to send him to someone who you think is the best.
Yeah, of course.
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah, and I got a great relationship with him. He's cut from the same cloth as me, very straight talking, very direct. There's no bullshit with him, and I think that's why from day one I knew. I remember going down without Jack. I would think Jack had one pro fight, and we drove down to Cardiff. We had a cup of coffee with him, and I said to him, "This is what I'm looking for." And I knew you have these. I say this to people. I'm very good with intuition. I have a gut feeling, and straight away we got in the car. Jack said, "That's the boy for you. You're going to work well with him." And how Jack loves him, and he loves how Jack. They got a great relationship, and I got 100% trust in him as well.
And he's not as miserable as he comes.
No, I say this to everyone. We have he's come to he's cornered how Jack with me for a few. He done his first UFC back in September, and he's great company. But he's good luck. He's good for the camaraderie of the team as well when you're around him, so he's been a good addition. So I just want to go back because I always ask, I've spoke to Gavin and I've spoke to Gary about how good Joe Calzaghe is. How good was he? You were training with him on a daily basis. How good was he? Like for me as an outsider, I say to everybody, for me, I'm a huge fan. I think you could argue the greatest British boxer. That's just my take. We all got different opinions, but undefeated. Did what he did, didn't change his style. You were up close and personal. What's your thoughts?
You touched on the point then about the Welsh not getting their props. Imagine he was English.
Oh, imagine if he was American.
Imagine he was American.
Yeah, even better. Yeah, but yeah.
I was probably from Kessler onwards, or even before that, I was his main sparring partner.
Yeah.
We sparred hundreds of them, and it's good to say now that I acquitted myself very well with Joe. But he was amazing. His footwork, his speed, and it only made me better. When I boxed that Braithwaite, he was a southpaw, and I had the greatest sparring I could possibly had. I had the fastest, best southpaw on the planet at the time, and he was amazing. His footwork was good, and his footwork, his timing, his energy levels is something I've never seen before. And,
he was like a marathon. When you said about the cardio side of Enzo, it's still. It was a trait for him, and you never outwork Calzaghe. Never outwork him.
Never. And he was one of them where he didn't do strength and conditioning. All he done was run, pads, and spar. That was it. Yeah. That was it. And you couldn't have made him any better.
So you come in towards the tail end of your career. You've had, and I've heard you say this on, you've had 50 amateur fights and you've had 49 pro fights.
Yeah.
And you've spoke you won that one more.
Yeah.
Is it going to happen? What are you, 39 at the moment or 38?
I'm 39. At 39, I'm probably the best shape I've ever been with, and that's no lie. I had a herniated disc for a year. I slowly started back running. I'm 6'3.5". I'm nearly 14 stone. I done a 10K last week in 39 minutes.
Yeah.
I done a 5K in 19 minutes. My punch output is as good as I've been. I feel like I'm hitting as hard as I've ever been. But I will spar, and I see how I feel.
Yeah.
If I spar, and after the fourth spar, I turn to Gary and say, "God, I'm shit." I said, I won't be doing this.
So would it be under Gary? It'll be under Gary if you come back.
Yeah, I got a lot of time for Gary, and I know which way I want to work, and I know Gary knows which way I want to work, it'd be great. And like I said, I do so much at the moment. My boy does a lot of sports. I got 50 boys in my amateur club. Yeah,
you're busy with the club.
If I don't fight again, it's not the end of the world. I'd love to
finish on that 100 fights, yeah.
If I finish on the 50th, or maybe one more, I don't know. Maybe have a crack at MMA then, just have one fight, just to say I have. But we'll see.
I would love to see it, because I've been a fan of yours for a long time with the boxing, and I think you deserve that. You deserve to go out on your terms in Swansea in front of your own people. And finish on your terms. And I think it'd be a great celebration. I think you'd sell an event out based on it, be it, But would you have that? Say you've gone out there now and you've cleaned him out in 2 rounds, whoever your opponent may be. Would that demon come out and go, do you know what? No, you might be one and done, and that's it.
I'd be happy with 50th. It'd have to be a name. I couldn't see myself have my 50th against some Latvian road sweeper or some Hungarian taxi driver, or have one, maybe something big, and that's it. Yeah. But then it's all ifs and it's all dreams. I heard Kovalev was going to cruiserweight. I told a couple of people, I said, put my name in the hat. Yeah. And they said, are you mad? And I said, no. I said, I hit harder than Canelo, I hit harder than others. And at the end of the day, I need something like that to put a bit of fear in me. Yeah, yeah. I need something that's going to get me focused, get me switched on. I'm not saying it will happen, but I'd have no qualms. Will I fight one of these youngsters coming up? No, don't interest me at all.
No, and it's not about that. I think talking to you, I can feel you're not looking to have a run at the world title. You won that 50th fight, and just a bit of a. I'd like to see it, but as a celebration of your career, I'll be honest with you. I think it would be nice for you to go out, in front of your hometown in Swansea. I just think it'd be a fantastic end to your career.
Yeah, cheers, mate. And that would be ideal, but we'll see.
Yeah. Out of all the fights you've had, what was your toughest ever fight?
Marcelo Dominguez, world title. Won world title. I said earlier, toughest chins in boxing. I remember in the 3rd round, I threw a jab, and the jab, it was only a lazy jab, so I was aiming for him to throw a jab back. So he threw the jab back, I made him fall short. And as he fell short, I hit him with the right hand, flush on the chin. And I mean, when I hit people, they go. I know that, I've done it for years, right? I hit him on the chin, he looked at me in his grunt little Argentinian accent, he went, good shot. I went, oh, fucking hell. So, I knew I was in for it.
You knew he was in for a tough old battle,
yeah. He had a tough back and forth fight. I should have gone on my toes, but I stood with a shorter man in the pocket, and it was a hard fight. But no, it was a good fight.
And one last one on your pro boxing career before I want to talk a bit about your coaching. What was it like to fight Roy Jones? Because
it was surreal. And
was he somebody that you looked up to as a fighter? No.
As a talent, one of the best ever.
Yeah, one of the greatest of all time, without doubt.
Without a shadow of a doubt. And my heroes were Tyson, Holyfield, Gatti, Chavez, Barrera, all blood and guts warriors.
Yeah, your blood and guts type of fighter that gets in there and has a brawl. He was
too good. He was too good. And when he was in Vegas, when Joe fought Hopkins, he probably can't remember this, but he blanked me for a photo.
Did he?
So how things turn around, you know?
And these things, you sound very similar to me. I hold them type of things personally as well, because I've come full circle, you know, as a young up and coming coach. I've been at big events, similar ssort of thing where I won't name names, but like a high profile coach, as you said, blanked you, and then you'll see them at a UFC event and they want to come and have a conversation. And I'm quite black and white. It's like, nah, mate, listen, I remember sat next to you in a Cage Warriors event and you tried to mug me off in front of an audience full of people. You come over here now trying to shake my hand, you know, but how things go full circle, like you said, and you end up knocking them out.
Yeah, it was surreal. It was like, I had a phone call and would you be interested in fighting Roy Jones? I said, yeah, it's all right, I would.
In Moscow, if I remember rightly, was it in Moscow? Yeah.
In Russia. I said, fucking Russia. And we had to go to the press conference first, 6 weeks before. And it was a couple of days after that plane got shot down going over Russia.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I was shitting myself flying over Russia anyway. So we went to Russia and I had about 2 hours sleep. So we travelled through the night. I must have looked pissed at the press conference. I was hanging out, sleep deprived. So it was mad. We got picked up to go to the press conference, and Roy was in the hotel, and he got picked up in a Rolls Royce, right? Me and Richard Maynard, who was Frank's right now, man, they picked us up in a 3-wheeler. We went to the press conference. You know, just no one bothered him. He was all about Roy, and you know, they're interviewing him, and he's saying, "Oh, you know, I'm gonna move out to Russia, and I'm not gonna have anything to do with a black man with a black family who want to come over to the most racist country in the world. It's got to be about money. Of
course, it's got to be money.
That's the only thing it's got to be." And we trained. We come back. We went back out there, and Gary couldn't make the first day, so he came out a day later. So Alex Hughes come out with me, and he took me on a pads. And when he took me on a pads, we were in a gym, and the rattle I was hitting the pads with, and how sharp I was, I think they started getting worried, and I think they thought, "Oh fuck, we made a mistake." So
yeah.
Gary come over, we trained, we done all the things, went to the press conference. I was quiet, I answered, "No, I'm not a bad person, I'm not a nasty person, I'm not saying this, it says an honour, fight them and all that." So we guess the arena for the weigh-in day, and you have a medical. So Roy goes in before me, he has a full medical. I sit down, the doctor says, "You Enzo?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You good?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Good luck tomorrow." That was it. So he sent me through. We had the weigh-in. Shook hands. And he tried to pull me towards him, and I remember pulling him towards me, and I said, "Look, it's an honour and a privilege to fight you tomorrow." I said, "But you've made a mistake, and I will knock you out." And he laughed, and I said, "I will." So we get back to the hotel, and all through camp, I bust my hand sparring. So I didn't do a lot of sparring. So I had a pair of gloves by Adidas, and they were soft gloves to protect my knuckles.
Yeah.
But Roy, it was sponsored by Rattle. Now Russ Amber, who's the owner of Rattle, he phoned Gary, met Gary in the hotel lobby, and he met him with Bob Plant, UFC cuts man.
I know Bob well. I know Bob really well. Yeah.
Bob being a lot of my friends, brilliant.
All right, son.
Right, son. And Gary phoned me. He said, "Look, you better come down to the lobby." I said, "Why?" He said, "Oh, you've got to try these gloves on." I said, "God, I got to wear the gloves they give me." He said, "Enz, come down and try them on." I said, "God, my hand's bad. I got to come down and try them on." So I remember putting it on, and I remember after, later on, I remember giving them to John Phillips to try on, and John said, "Fuck, I'd rather get it with an MMA net." They were like breed blocks.
Yeah.
But I remember putting my hand in it. I put it down and I went, "Yeah." So as I'm walking up the stairs, Gary texts me. And on the text was, "Silly fuckers wanting you to wear them gloves." So it was just a surreal experience. And, you know, they made me wait for about 20 minutes. They played bagpipes for me to come in the ring, which I think the confusion of Mac Must have been Scottish.
Yes, I thought he was from Braveheart, Scotland or something.
Then they started playing God Save the Queen for me in the ring.
Oh, God.
And it was just mad. And when I knocked him out, the whole place went silent. Completely silent.
How many was there for that, Enz?
I don't know, mate. It was loads. It was packed. It was like a nice hockey arena. It was full to the brim.
Yeah.
As he was out cold on the floor, I went over to the corner, done a sign of the cross, and everyone thought I'd done that because it was Roy Jones. I done that. So I don't want to hurt anyone. Regardless who it was. But
you want everybody to make a full recovery, don't you?
Yeah. And as I'm in the corner, I'm on my knee and I'm looking. I see a hand come in the ring. I've seen a film, Bloodsport.
Yeah.
You know the cleaner when he picks up the tuff? It was Alex Hughes' hand coming in the ring, pinching Roy Jones's gum shield. And he's got it to this day.
You sell that for a few quid on eBay?
If we've got time, I'll tell you what Alex got up to afterwards. We'll get into that later. Yeah. But it was just a surreal experience, and it was mad. We had a visit then after by the Russian mafia, and they went. It was just a long story. It was crazy. It was.
But what an experience, and what a name to have on your resume. A KO against Roy Jones.
Not so much that. I know he won as good as he was, and
but he's still Roy Jones.
But I spoke to him after the fight. I went in after the fight, and he said, "Look, I'm not as strong as I used to be, and I'm not as fast as I used to be." He said, "But I'm still very strong." He said, "I've been sparring some of the top world boys." And I said, "I'm more than handling my own." He said, "I couldn't believe how strong you were." He said, "I couldn't believe how much you switched head and body, and how good your jab was." Now, for me, that was amazing. Because if I was him, I would have said, "I'm 130, I'm useless."
Yeah.
That's the only reason we won. But it was great, some of the stuff he said.
Great to have the feedback off somebody like that in a positive manner as well, 100%. Isn't it?
And I still stay in contact with him. We have a chat now and again on text and stuff like that. So it's nice.
No, but what I want to touch as well. I remember you doing that tweet saying, "This is me beating a prime Roy Jones" a couple of weeks back.
But just don't get it.
How much fun can we have on Twitter? People have no sense of sarcasm. They have no sense of banter. I post stuff. I'm not a football fan, but I'll go on there. Say, for example, United lose 1-0 to Liverpool. I don't know. And I don't follow it. I go like, good God, how did United lose? They were robbed. There was this, on another day that could have been... And people I don't know, are messaging me, did you watch the same fucking game as me? Have you lost your mind? And I just go back, listen, mate, I just felt... But when you, because you are a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for?
Close to the mark?
Not close to the mark, you're doing it in a joking manner, aren't you? You do it, and you must tweet, and you must be a bit like you think, right, come on, let's have a look what comes back off you.
To be honest, right, I got some good followers.
Yeah.
And I think if I get a bit of shit,
they get on their back.
I'll repost it, retweet it, and some of them are savage. It was some guy said something about me 10 years ago, walking past him in Tesco's when he was selling poppies, and I was looking at the floor. So I replied and I said, "Look, I can't remember that." I said, "It's not like me to look at the floor." I said, "Maybe I was having a bad day. Maybe I was too tired. Maybe I didn't like the look of you, or maybe I just didn't want to give it that moment in time." So people have seen that, and he ruined this guy. And this one guy said, "Jeff," he said, "I think you're one of them men who sniffs a bouncy castle when the kids are gone." So next thing, his account is blocked. He blocks everyone, and it's just some of them are close to the mark, but it's it's nice to know that I got that. I got followers who got my back. Yeah, no, you some of your tweets are some of my favourite ones, because I think, we're off down a rabbit hole with this one now. People are going to start biting like that. That Roy Jones one, though, brilliant. It was mostly the Americans. Yeah. I'm a boxing fan. I know the score. Would I have knocked him out in his prime? 100% if I'd have caught him. Would I have caught him? Fucking 99.9% chance I wouldn't have touched it. But some of these Americans, they jump on there and they go mad. And I got this gift now. I think I've done it a few times. You got Rocky, and you got a joke going over his head, and he's just lost in the joke. Some idiots on there, like.
Brilliant. Right, let's touch on the MMA we spoke about earlier. you're a big fan and all that. You know, we've had conversations on Twitter about different fights, and you spoke about the offer off Bellator, and I think I heard on the Lights Out podcast you mentioned that if you could pick an opponent, it'd be Wanderlei Silva, because you think he's somebody who'd come and have a stand up bout with you.
I just
or was that a bit tongue in cheek?
No, it's not. No. And you know, don't get me wrong. I know his ground game's superb, but he's not going to go to the ground.
No.
He's going to want to come and meet me head on. He's well past his best. I'm probably past my best. I'm going into his sport. Obviously, I've got to be careful with the kicks and stuff like that. But you know, if that was offered to me, I'd jump at a chance.
Yeah.
I'd go more. I'd love that more of a chance than a fading Chris Weidman who's going to take me down and just
of course, mate. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not stupid, and I'm not stupid in the slightest. I know the score. I know how hard it is to grapple with medium level grapplers.
Yeah.
So you know, not the top of the ring. So if it was offered, I think Bellator did have Wanderlei. I don't know if they still got him.
Yeah, still there.
If they wanted to promote a fight for name recognition, I think what bigger for me to win than me versus Wanderlei, two boys. Someone's getting sparked.
Yeah.
Someone's getting sparked. It's not going to last very long, but I think it'll be tidy when it happens.
He's had a bad accident this weekend. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he's been involved in a car crash. He's up and about, but he's been bumped about quite bad. So I think it'll be a while before he fights.
But again, you know, it's all ifs and buts they've offered me. I said that would be an interesting fight. And he said, "Oh, would it really go with Wanderlei?"
I think stylistically it's a perfect fight for you. That would make sense. It makes sense.
100%, and it's no pride rules. So you can't kick me in the head with a horse. I'm like that. But you know, I'm a massive fan of MMA, and like I said, you know, if I went into Bellator, I'm not looking at doing no run for a title or nothing like that. I know I'm too old to learn.
Go in, couple of highlight fights, earn some money.
Yeah, and you know, it's just, I think more to say that because I'm such a big fan, it's just nice to say, you know,
you've done it, yeah.
I had a crack, like.
And I think, you know, you're one of those competitors where you would enjoy that challenge. Hey, no one's going to want to take a straight right off you with 4-ounce gloves on, right?
Apart from Wanderlei.
Yeah, but, you know, if he comes in and he's honestly thinking that he's going to start eating those type of shots, he's going to be in for a short night, isn't he? Wanderlei would be a good fight stylistically. Is there anyone else out there, you know, that you think, oh...
No, I just see him and I just know it's going to be a war.
Yeah.
I just know he's going to come in windmilling, and obviously I'll windmill back, and you know my hands are 10 times better than his. But then would the leg kicks play effect if I stand off him too much?
Yeah.
I don't think. I don't know how I'd react walking to a cage rather than a ring. It's all new to me, and people don't get this. You know when I see people are commenting, "Oh, I'd fight him for £1 million" and stuff like that. You wouldn't physically be able to make the walk to the change.
Yeah, spot on, mate.
You'd be that nervous. You know, I see people. Oh, I'd have gone in with a prime Tyson for £1 million. No, you fucking wouldn't have.
No.
You wouldn't have made the walk from the change room to the ring.
The actual fear would have played a part there. You're right, but you know. People outside of combat sports, whether it be boxing, jiu-jitsu, they've no understanding of that process and the mindset it is for a fighter, you know. This game is 90% mental and 10% physical.
100%.
You know, you give me an average athlete with a fantastic mindset over an outstanding athlete with a weak mindset any day of the week as a coach. Because I can mould the physical side of you, but I can't mould the mental side of you. Not always. It can have an effect on it.
I always tell my boy you're fighting, I'll only accept the loss if the boy is better.
Yeah.
As long as they do everything they can, they put all the effort in and give me 100%, I can't ask no more.
Yeah.
And I tell them all, I want no excuses after. If you lose, you lose. If you give me your best, you give me your best. If the boy is better, there's not much you can do about it.
It's a big learning curve. You know, when I first started competing many years ago, I remember entering the Welsh Open, and I use this story for all my students, and I've brought it up in podcasts. there was 8 of us in the division. So you had a League of 4 and a League of 4. It was a round robin and a round robin. The top 2 went into the semi-finals. And I won my division and I submitted everybody. And then I went into the semi-final. I won that by submission. Then in the final, I fought a boy that I'd submitted in the group stages.
Right.
He was ex-Marine, fit as hell. I was on my ass. And he beat me on points because he took me down and I was just too... And I came from here. It was the biggest... And I've said to myself, I will never lose again because I'm not fit enough. I don't mind losing. If he'd have subbed me and he was a better fighter, I can put up with it. I've lost plenty of bouts. But it's never because I'm not prepared and I'm not given 100%. And I agree. And I think, again, though, Enz, the reason why you're being successful now as a coach is because you've been through it as a competitor and as a fighter. And there's some fantastic coaches out there that have never had combat experience. I'm not disputing that, but I do think it helps. I really believe that, if I've got to have a standoff with one of my pro fighters and they say, they can never turn around and say, well, what do you know about it? You've never had to cut weight. Because I know everything about it, but I've done it. I've been there. I've cut the weight. I've had the fights. I've done the 12-week training camps. I've done the dieting. It's experience, And also as well being there, when you see one of the young amateurs, you see them getting a bit jittery as they're about to walk out on Cage Warriors, a big event, like, this is normal, this is natural, just breathe. This kid in fighting is feeling exactly the same because I've been there, I've experienced these feelings, So I'm a great believer that it does help you as a coach, and as I said, there's some fantastic coaches out there that have never competed. But for me, I'm old school, and I think you've got to have done the art to be teaching it.
Especially in the corner. Especially in the corner when things are going bad. And Enzo Maccarinelli never boxed before. He was a freak of nature. But in that corner, you need to have some sort of relevance of what is happening, what's going on, and how you're going to cope with it. And if you've never been there, it's going to be hard. And we talked to the Anthony Smith situation. I think that was a fight with Eddie. They chucked Eddie Bravo in. Was that the one?
No, he was in the Ferguson corner, wasn't he, Eddie Bravo? Tony Ferguson.
Ferguson. They chucked Eddie Bravo in, and he said, "What am I supposed to tell him?"
Yeah.
I think he had no experience.
I liked his honesty in that as well. I listened to that on the Joe Rogan podcast where he said, this was a stand-up fight, and they've made me go in mic'd up into the corner. I'm a grappler. I can tell you what to do when it's a floor, So. Yeah, it's a good point. But if you was to fight MMA ends, what would you want? How long would you want to prepare for it? What would you fight? What would your camp look like? What would you be doing to prepare for that sort of thing?
Obviously, I'm not gonna just box. Obviously, I want to go back grappling again. So I probably have to. I'm too old to learn everything. I still remember some things.
Yeah.
So obviously, I need to learn the basics of tying up and sprawling and things like that. And I don't envision them, especially if it is Vanderlei. If it was Vanderlei, I don't envision it going very long. I don't envision it going on the floor unless one of us on the floor. And I'd have to find myself a proper camp and do things properly.
You got lots of options around with you. You got Johnny Phillips, you got Mike Edwards, boys that I know well, who would be perfect really, wouldn't they, for preparing for a fight like that as well, So I think it'd be great for you, bud.
Well, I trained with John last week. He asked me to give him. Said he might have a fight soon. So he asked me if we do some training together next week, stuff like that. And John's ex-fighter and my dad's a good friend of mine, so. I'm going to push him through his paces.
Yeah, great. John boxed at your dad's amateur gym, did he? When he was
he boxed me. I think he seen my dad as a more grandpa to him than anything else.
Yeah.
They got on very close. They got on very well, and they were very close.
Let's talk a bit about then your role now as a coach. Then was coaching something you always had visions of getting involved in, or did it happen by chance? Or
I've been coaching for years. My dad had his own club, and. I've been coaching. I was matching my dad's show when I was 15, 16 years of age. I always loved being involved. I went over to Russia to fight for a European title, and I won in Russia. Won the European title, first round knockout. I'm on a phone in the middle of the ring. People are wondering who I was phoning. I was actually phoning my dad to find out how one of our amateurs got off in Azerbaijan in the championships that day. So I've always had a hand. my dad passed away in 2012. So me and my brother took the gym over. Took it over properly. My brother then passed away last year for a heart attack.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise.
I sort of stuck. I was in two minds whether to give it up. So I couldn't cope with it on my own.
Yeah.
And then I got a Luke Jefferson, ex-fighter, my dad. He's come on board to help me. Tobias Webb, my nephew, and Mark Davis look after the youngsters. So there's a few of us there. The gym's running well. I got about 50 kids in there as well.
That's lovely for me to hear as well. The fact that you've continued the great work your dad done for decades. Do you know what I mean? And the gym is still going. I think that's fantastic. Is it just amateurs you're coaching, or are you doing any?
I'm on the verge of getting a pro license as well. If some of my amateurs want to turn, they've asked if I would coach them.
So they'll carry through as a pro with yourself then, yeah.
Yeah. So I'd be interested in helping the SMMA boys and things like that. I enjoy teaching people who want to be taught.
Yeah, I think boxing could learn a bit from MMA in that respect. And stop me if I'm wrong, but I believe is it right that if you're a licensed amateur coach, you can't coach pros as well?
Used to be.
Yeah. So how does it work now?
No, I think it's okay now. I think we're gonna have a pro license and an amateur license. But a few years ago,
it was one or the other.
My wife's been a bit of an idiot behind the camera. I think a couple of years ago, you could only have an amateur or a pro license. They couldn't. It was many years ago. Pros and amateurs couldn't train together.
Ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah.
And when I was 14, 15, without me sparring pros, being a bit sneaky and going out and sparring professionals, there's no way I would have learned.
Yeah,
I could not spar a 15-year-old boy.
Yeah. Well, so, I've got I'd say 90% of my top tier pros I've had since they were amateurs as kids. I've brought them through from kids to where they are now, and I think that's been key to us as a team for the success is being consistent. Then, for want of a better term, they're used to my partner coaching. I'm used to them as fighters. I know them inside out, and I think it helps. And where we're very fortunate now, we're in the new gym. I've got 3 lads that's competing in the UFC. I've got a stable of Cage Warriors fighters, but I've also got now a group of amateur lads that are learning so much from training side by side in these sessions with these elite level guys.
100%. And I think that's the way forward. Obviously I'm still training myself, so some nights then I'll go in the gym. I haven't done it for a while, but I'll go in the gym. I'll spar all of them. If you've got 25 boys, I'll spar a lot of them. The super heavyweights are going to be the unlucky ones because I might let a few go on them. For all the others, I just move around with them and stuff like that. So, and I enjoy it, and it's hard to explain. But when they fight and when they win, I get just as much buzz.
I agree. I agree. And I'm emotionally.
I love sport.
You love it, and also, but when you've had these lads that have been with you, like I've got like Marshman, Edwards. These are boys that are 30 years of age, but have been with me since they're 15, 16 years of age. And you're emotionally attached to them as well. It's a personal journey. It's not just like a professional fighter coach for me and my guys. There's that relationship there where I got 100% trust in them and they got it in me, And I think that's been key to the success with our gym.
100%. Nearly 2 years ago now, I had a young kid, William, 21 years of age. One of the brightest talents I've ever seen. Rugby, boxing, straight A student. Passed all his business degree exams up in London. I sent him up to the Rattle club in London. He went and won the championships up there. He wicked fighter. Had a rich family, so never wanted nothing. Had a good family. Took him everywhere. Enticed him to sport. Took his own life 2 years ago. Went all days. Really hurt me. Really affected me. From now, I go in the gym and I make it known to the boys every couple of weeks, me and the coaches, any problems, you come and speak to us. This Will told me everything. He told me everything. He told me his first time with a girl, everything. My wife said, he can't go tell me what. I said, well, he can't tell his dad, can he? He's telling me all this. But obviously, it was something he was hiding and I didn't know about. And from that moment on, me and the coaches, we make sure every now and again, just tell the boys, look, got anything to tell us, anything at all, sexuality, money problems, family problems, you know, you can talk to us or whatever you want. And I think that's important. I think we're living in a new world now, and I think when I say the world is soft, I don't mean in a way, but when we were in school, teacher shout at you, you listen. A teacher tell you they're going to call you dad, you shit yourself. Now they're not allowed to shout, they're not allowed to do this, not allowed to do that. And I think some kids just grown up not knowing how to handle problems.
Yeah, you're right. There's no resilience anymore. You know, I work in a school ends, you know. I still work in a school as a behaviour manager, you know, and I work with a lot of vulnerable kids. And there's no resilience no more. You know, like you said, when we was youngsters, you had an obstacle or a problem, you had to overcome it. Today, it's too easy to make an excuse up for things, you know. And what you touched on there about sexuality, I think that's the key one. I mean, in boxing and MMA in particular, there's no high-profile gay competitors.
Yeah.
Are you telling
me? I bet there's a few.
Gotta be, but you know, in rugby they start to have the courage to come out now, and in different sports around the world. But are you telling me that there's not one competitor UK in boxing or MMA? You know, some of the females have come out, you know, but I still think that there's a stigma, and as you said, that can have such a toll on you as a young lad.
100%.
You know, so.
100%. You know, I just want to make sure they're to talk, and you know, they know that I wouldn't judge whatever. You know, it's a new world we live in. I couldn't give a toss.
That's good, and that's great. But that you've got that approach, you know, the personal. I'm going to get my phone up because I've got some questions off the internet, quick fire questions to wrap up with. Right, there'll be a few others going to put a smile on your face because there's a few characters that you know. Right, Kieran Gibbons. Oh. Ask Enzo how I stopped a fan beating him up while we were doing commentary at S4C Chwarian, is it? Is that how you pronounce it?
It was a fight. Who was fighting? Jake Anthony, Morgan Jones. Morgan Jones won the fight. I thought Jake Anthony won the fight. I said on commentary, Jake Anthony won the fight. And it was a bit of a dodgy decision. And you had this big lump. He started walking over. He started shouting. And it was a matter. And he said, you bribing the refs, you bribing the judges. I said, what are you on when I'm bribing the judges? He said, you bribing the judges. I said, nothing to do with me. I said, I'm on a mic. He said, I'm telling you now, Jake won our fight. You're bribing the judges. I said, look, it's nothing to do. And he said, I'm going to jump over that railing now. So I stood up. I said, you jump over that railing, I'll fucking smash it. And I had my mic on and everything. And Kieran Gibbons gone, oh, you know, you better calm down now. But, you know, at the end of the day, I wouldn't have done nothing. But just let it know, if he jumped over that railing, I was a bit fearful. He's having one.
Right, next one's off your coach, Gary Lockett. Ask Enzo what happened with us and Putin's Hell's Angels in Moscow after he stopped Roy Jones. This will be a great listen, Sheikh.
Right. After the fight, I guess in the change room, we all celebrating. Two big fellas come in the ring, and the Putin's guards.
Yeah.
I don't think I've actually said this on camera before, so if I die, it's your fault, right?
We blame Lockett.
Blame Lockett. It's Lockett's fault. So they come in and they told us to go with them. I said, no, I have my top off. They said, come with us now. I said, no. So next thing, they picked this kid up or pushed him. He was holding a TV camera. They smashed him against the wall. So we all looked at each other. So Liam Williams, he smashed a bottle or something behind him. And, you know, fair play. If Enzo's in, I'm in. Alex Hughes has gone, oh, I think I'll wait outside. So they said, right, come with us. We walking up the change room, me and Frank Warren's son, Francis. Going up the change room, we stopped. Francis says, oh, you know, we shouldn't be doing this. So I said, well, we haven't got much of a choice now, have we? So I'm looking at the guy, you know, and I'm looking at him putting his hand in his pocket, and I'm thinking, he puts his hand in his pocket, I'm going to bang him and run. Where I'm going to run to, I don't know, right? So anyway, cut long story short, we go in Roy's change room. I go over to see Roy, see how he is. Cut a long story short, the promoter of the show thought I was so far gone. This is what I can gather. I was so far gone that he was looking so good. I think he told, or what I can gather, he told them I was taking a dive or something along them lines, and they lost a lot of money. So I'm lucky to be here talking to you now. But as it happens, after all sorted, they were great. We went back to the hotel. We had Alex Hughes ate and drunk champagne and ate cheesecakes and spewed in a $100,000 limo on the way home. Then he changed bollock naked in the middle of Moscow airport to get changed, get all the spew off his clothes. It was just mad. He spewed in a limo, and as we turned the corner, you could hear the spew swishing across the floor.
Don't bet.
We get up to the car now, and we've got this little Russian driver, and he goes, and all he would see is Alex. Oh, sorry, but I'll get that cleaned, he said. He's spewing all about his bags. He's spewing Liam Williams' clothes. It was just mad. And this guy then, he phoned Francis Warren, the head of this gang. And they do a lot of charity work, but I don't think they want us to mess with. They don't want to mess with. So he said to Francis, whatever happened. The Russian public loved Enzo. We'd love him to come back. He can fight for exactly the same money against nobody's just to get him up. So Francis is looking at me now with pound signs in his eyes. I'm looking at him going,
no,
you're not getting me out there again. So he phoned me about 4 weeks later. It was an MMA show out there, and he invited me and Francis. And I said, you got no chance.
No chance. He might not come back. Brilliant. Brilliant. Right, a lot of the ones that's come through we've touched on. You've got a couple of your mates on your Marley Swindlers asking why you ain't answering the phone to me. Marley Bennett asking why he suckered me into a row, then choked me out because I was taking it easy because I didn't realise he'd done anything.
Marley, good boy. Marley used to box a lot with me.
Good lads.
Marcel does box with me, and I taken him on a pads one day, and he said, I'd be able to take you down. And I said, it can't be that hard. I said, it's easy. He didn't have a clue what he knew what he was doing. So he went to take me down, and I jumped up, pulled guard, guillotined him. I told him after. But Marley, good boy, good friend of mine, took him up to London for a Total Combat show, got to the final, and 2 weeks' notice. Need a good kid.
Yeah, good lads. Both good boys. I like two of them. Both good fighters as well. MMA wise, two of them. One of my students, Jeff Deacon, I fitted a boiler at Enzo's house 15 years ago in Swansea. Can you ask him if it's still working?
My house in Swansea 15 years ago. Oh, you might have. I don't know. I think I moved since then. They rent those now. I don't think we've had any problems, so it might be all right.
Brilliant. I can ask you this last one. It's off one of your mates, Mike Edwards. Mike's asked, how did it feel to stop Orville Mackenzie in the 11th round to revenge the loss after some had written you off to win the Commonwealth Championship? I know it felt good to me being an Enzo fan. Just your thoughts on that, bud.
For a start, Mike's a good lad.
Yeah, great, bro. I've had Mike on the podcast.
Oh, good boy, Mike. I've known him a long time. It was a brilliant feeling. Everyone ripped me off. Everyone didn't want me to fight him. I said I'll go straight at him. I remember being at the press conference, and I told them. They said, "Are you ready? What's the camp been like?" I said, "Well, everyone says I'm the best I've ever been." I said, "All I need to tell you is I'm ready." The bell went. I went straight at him, and it probably even though it was in the Mortal Point Arena, so it wasn't as big as the Millennium. The atmosphere that night for my fight was the best I've ever had. Best you've ever had, yeah? Yeah, it was amazing. It was.
Brilliant. Right, last question for you before I let you go, Enz. Who's your favourite fighter of all time? And if you could have a dream matchup with anybody from the past, who would it be?
My favourite fighter, I got too many. Tyson, Duran, Gatti, Barrera, Marquez, any of them fights. Chavez, any of them. Dream matchup, Holyfield. Just for the fact I could say I'm battered by the Cruiserweight King.
Yeah, brilliant. Just before you go, if you was going to come back MMA, what weight would it be? Light heavyweight?
No, no. What's like heavy? 205.
205, yeah.
No, I'd be middle.
Middle 185, yeah.
I'm only about 195 now.
190, yeah. So you easy cut. To be honest, but there's boys our weight cut into 170. I can send you a diet plan if you fancy it.
To be honest, right, when I boxed like Eddie McKenzie, I think I was 175.
Yeah.
And I think I come in at 172. So I think I can make 170, but I don't weigh 170 if it's Vanderlei.
Right, Enz, I can't thank you enough, but for giving up your time. It's been a great chat, and I think a lot of the people, will have a great insight into how you got involved in boxing and how your career went as a pro. And do you want to just give everybody that's listening a quick shout out for your gym?
Yeah, my gym's Boney Mine ABC. We're going to be posting a lot of things on social media, let people get updated in the gym. More than welcome to come down. Yourself with you boys, you're more than welcome to come down. I got a load of boys there, so we're going to be good for my boys as well.
Yeah, we'll take you up on that, but definitely.
We'll bring them up. So, just have a good day. Get over this COVID-19 pandemic, which I'm sure won't be long.
Yeah, fingers well. Where can they find you on Twitter? What's your Twitter?
Real Enzo Mac. Not for the faint-hearted. If you follow me and you haven't got a sense of humour, don't get sarcasm, it's best you unfollow me.
Yeah, I can testify to that, lads, as well, and ladies and gents. So, right, Enz, hopefully this lockdown is over soon, and we will pay you a visit. Thanks for your time, buddy.
Cheers, Rich. Ta-ra, mate.